stepping down to step up. This moment demands that we do everything in our power to address the climate emergency. And in my new role, I'll have the opportunity to work with elected officials, community leaders, environmental organizations, policy professionals, and people like all of you across the state to ensure that California embraces its ability to make real change happen right now while we still have time. And I'm grateful to our council, community, and our staff for being climate leaders who have done so much on this issue that I can step up and amplify this type of climate leadership at the state level. A state level movement is crucial because while individual actions are useful, we know that it will take systemic and cultural shifts to ensure a bright future for all of us. And as longtime climate champion Bill McKibben reminds us, the best thing that we can do as an individual is to stop acting and thinking like individuals. So thank you so much to the voters for believing in me time and again. And thank you to all of you who worked on my campaigns. And honestly, thank you to those of you that worked against me in my campaigns, because you made me and our policies stronger and better. Thank you to my fellow council members for being part of such a positive, civil, and successful team, and a historic all-female city council. Special and heartfelt thanks to the talented and dedicated staff of this great city. I want to say how much I appreciate our city manager, our city attorney, and our sustainability manager, to name a few. So Derek, Christine, and Chris, thank you so much for being exemplary at what you do. I thought I was going to get choked up about my kids, but I'm actually more choked up about the staff. That's how great this city is. That's how great this staff is. So thank you for all that you do. And I hope and trust that future councils will continue to support the staff who have dedicated their lives to bringing our community's dreams to life. I recognize that this decision is unexpected and unusual, but these are not usual times. The pandemic has reminded us that time as an unlimited resource is an illusion, and our rapidly changing climate is making it clear every single day with historic wildfires, floods, droughts, and extreme storms that we are running out of time.
Here it is.
And part of the new normal is that many of us are looking at our lives and asking ourselves if we are in the right place. Are we doing enough to create a more sustainable and beautiful world? This fight can be the North Star for all of us. It's the biggest story of our lives and the biggest drama in the history of the human experience. It's a mandate that we should feel and embrace to be part of the first generation to fully understand our potential extinction. Right? To be part of the first generation to fully understand our potential extinction, and the last generation to be able to do anything about it. So it's time to write a new story for humanity, and I'm grateful to be one of the many authors of that new story, and I'm calling all of you up to join me in co-authoring that vision. It's easy to despair in these historically challenging times, but I am here to tell you that action is a powerful antidote to that despair. We have an opportunity to take action, the action that this moment requires. Because there is a glimmer of hope in the climate report. The analysis shows that human beings can limit warming and stabilize the climate by mid-century. So we must work together to demand that governments, corporations, and communities make immediate, rapid, and widespread cuts in emissions, all achievable if we can generate the political will. And that's why one of my first tasks in my new role will be asking Governor Newsom to declare an official state of climate emergency in California. By mid-century, my children will be the same age that I am now, and potentially with kids of their own. And I want to brighten their glimmer of hope, and I pray that all of you do too. A few days ago, when I spoke to my kid about this decision to move on from the city and up into a more meaningful climate position, they said that sentence that all mothers long to hear. I'm so proud of you, Mom. I'm so proud of you, Mom. So, as a final act of service to you, the people of our city, I give you this to consider. Simply, I hope that you will join me in pausing your own life. Pause your own life. Consider that. And reflect on how we can live and how we can collaborate. And yes, how we might be able to change the world. Let's all ask what's at stake. Let's ask who and what do we love most. And let's ask ourselves what more we can do to ensure that all of our children have a safe planet to live on and a vital and thriving future. And let's ask ourselves what more we can do to ensure that all of our children are proud of us.
Is there a reason why you didn't take this? Climate change is nothing
I'll
new.
be taking questions from journalists, and I'm happy to discuss anything rooted in facts.
A fact is that climate change has always been known to be a big issue with everybody. So why now? Why didn't you take that position before you took this position? And why now, before your term has expired, did you decide now? Is there another reason behind this that you're not saying?
I've been working on climate change, it feels like my whole life at this point, but certainly the last 2 decades, and have been able to do a lot. So thank you for noticing that. And
Are you under investigation by the FBI, Mayor Harmon, for your affiliation with Helios Dayspring?
And have done a lot as a city in collaboration, as I said,
fair
with many
question.
of the people that are here
Thank you,
today.
sir.
That's a fair question. Could you answer?
Ma'am, are you under investigation by the FBI? Are you going to be indicted, ma'am,
That's
for
a
your
fair-
affiliation with Helios
That's a fair
Dayspring?
question.
Or is this just a big coincidence?
I have no involvement whatsoever in any of that.
There's no truth to the
Any of
reports?
what?
There's no truth to the reports? Could you answer that question?
What happens now? Who's going to fill the seat?
Yeah, great question. So I think
Or one
we've
she
got
likes.
some details there because it's a little bit I don't know if it's complicated, but there's some details that are in the city's charter that we have to follow. And so once I vacate my seat, which will be in approximately a month, that then the remaining council members will then appoint someone to take that position. My sense is that will likely come from one of the existing council members, but that's just a guess on my part. And if that's the case, then they will also have to appoint a second person to take that vacant council seat. Yeah.
And just to piggyback on some of the rumors that have been swirling around the Helios situation, you know, what is the extent of the campaign donations you've taken with him, if any? And
Yeah,
how
all of that is public,
Okay.
and everything's been reported in alignment with all laws and regulations around all of that. That's all been public for years. I think that was an election 3 or 4 years ago now. So, and as everybody knows, or maybe you don't know, happily at the City of San Luis Obispo, we have a very small maximum donation of $300, and so no one can contribute more than $300. So I don't have all those numbers right off the top of my head, but it's all publicly available. It's all been reported, and everything has been reported within the laws and the FPC and all of that. Certainly with an investigation the size of which we've seen in our county, I think if there had been any problems, we would have heard about that.
So just to clarify, you're not under investigation?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm definitely not. I'm under interrogation constantly by folks, but not investigation.
So to piggyback on that, you know, instead of waiting till the very end, why did you choose now is the moment to step down?
Yeah, so there's some other issues too, right? So like I said, climate action is my North Star, but that is just one point amongst a constellation of reasons. And so this role is compensated at a level that it makes it really impossible to live in the 5th most expensive place to live in the United States with just this role. We know that I'm certainly not the first council member to have to step down due to financial or trying to get jobs and careers in the context of our role. And that's definitely been true for me. It's been a challenge to get a role, and I have been trying. And so it became clear that I wasn't going to be able to pursue those opportunities while I was still in the context of this job. And so since this job came along that is in perfect alignment with my values and with what I feel I'm meant to be doing, and honestly, thank thanks so much to so many people here, staff, council, climate coalition, and community members. We have really done, there's always more to do, but we've done so much on climate change that I do, and not to mention housing, bike paths, fiscal responsibility. Like I said, we got through COVID like a champ. The parklets, this city is doing great.